Welcome everyone to the Thursday edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. There's so much to show you today. There's almost too much to show you today. This video could be 20 minutes long, really, but I'll try to keep it under 10. We've got cold and we've got snow. The worst of the winter overall, when you look at a one-week period, is definitely about to unfold across northeast Ohio and western Pennsylvania. On my way to work today at about 2 o'clock, I did see a pretty hefty snow shower around Boardman. The visibility was reduced, but for the most part, this is nothing more than flurries out there this afternoon. Accumulation's really hard to come by. Maybe someone gets a fresh dusting out of this, but it's looking less and less likely that anybody gets an inch worth of snow today. Just fresh dustings. Watch out for a few slick spots, especially on parking lots and sidewalks. It's so cold that salt isn't very effective. They need to use more of a mixture of brine and other types of things to really do a number on the slick spots. When it's 11 degrees, salt just isn't real effective. 11 degrees the temperature in Youngstown, and upper single digits, lower teens pretty common throughout eastern Ohio and western Pennsylvania at this hour. Scattered snow shower activity downwind of Lake Erie, heading over into central Pennsylvania. Let me take off the radar. Check out the temperatures up across the Midwest this afternoon. I'll bring up the colors here to make things stand out a little bit more. We've got very, very, very cold temperatures up here. It's well below zero in Minnesota, Wisconsin. Parts of Iowa and Illinois are below zero, and it only gets colder once you're up into Canada. And this is the fresh, kind of recharged batch of Arctic air that's getting set to pivot east. And we're going to feel the effects of that certainly tonight and tomorrow. This morning, most kids had school. Tomorrow morning, probably not. A lot of 2-hour delays anyway, I think, for Friday morning, with wind chills well below zero as this fresh Arctic air works east. These are the temperatures. Let me plot up the current wind chill values. We've got lots of minus 20s out across the upper Midwest. Wind chills around northeast Ohio and western Pennsylvania this afternoon are a little below zero. It's certainly pretty blustery out there, making it feel pretty harsh to be outside once again this afternoon. Let me show you the 24-hour temperature change map here. It's turning much colder in the nation's heartland. Temperatures compared to 24 hours ago are as much as 25 to 30 degrees colder, all the way down into Texas, where they're expecting a big, crippling ice storm in parts of Texas. It's getting set to unfold here. So this is the air mass that's moving into the country. It's invading from the north and from the west. All right, we don't have to worry about too much snow until Friday night at this point. So there's going to be some flurries around this evening, and then I do suspect the flurry machine will gradually wind down for tonight. This is Friday's map, and as we wrap up the week, it's going to be cold. The winds are going to be icy, but not much is going to be happening weather-wise. A little sunshine on Friday. Notice how tightly packed the isobars are Friday as a warm front tries to push in from the west. It's going to be windy. And those wind chills will probably stay below zero all day. Now here's our next weather maker. This is the one we've been advertising for Friday night, probably late evening into the overnight, and then heading into Saturday, especially Saturday morning. Notice the darker greens here. This is the 6-hour accumulated precipitation on the GFS model ending at 7 a.m. on Saturday. So in other words, the accumulation that happened between 1 a.m. and 7 a.m. on Saturday. Pretty good slug of moisture with this. And this will give us locally a few inches worth of snow, I think, with the hardest snow, heaviest snow, occurring at and a little before sunrise on Saturday. So this is going to be a pretty good snow event, a pretty good snow rate for us from about 2 or 3 in the morning Saturday up until 7 or 8 in the morning. That's when snowfall rates will be at their heaviest. Then the snow will taper off to leftover flurries and snow showers Saturday afternoon. Maybe someone gets an additional inch or so Saturday afternoon. But the main show is Friday night, early Saturday morning. So that's the first weekend system. The second one then pulls through on Sunday. This one's more of a midday into the afternoon event, so Sunday starts okay, but ends with snow, center of the low-pressure system by Sunday evening, up around Toledo. Now this particular clipper will have a little less moisture to work with, but the liquid snow ratios will be higher. In other words, you can get a little more accumulation out of less moisture with this type of snow. This is more of the fluffy kind of snow that'll come through on Sunday. And yeah, there could be another couple of inches out of this. I'll talk a little bit more about those accumulations here in just a second. So that's Sunday. We've got round 1 Saturday morning, round 2 midday into the afternoon Sunday, and then the big story next week is not snow, but it is cold. There'll be some flurries around, but Monday right through Thursday, the most kind of sustained worst cold that we've seen all winter. Sure, a couple of weeks ago we had a -12, and then we had a wind chill of -35, but that was a one-day deal, really. This is going to last a few days, and it's going to be pretty bad. All right, let's take a look at snowfall accumulations. Here's the NAM model from now until mid-evening, I should say, on Saturday. It's forecast, once you get into some of these darker blues, you're getting up around 4 or 5 inches. The purple is 6 inches or more. This is the model that has the most snow out of all the models I've seen so far this afternoon. So I think this is kind of the high end of possibilities. Officially, our WFMJ forecast for the first system on Saturday morning is for 3 to 5. I think odds are a little better that we get 3 rather than 5. But, again, keeping in mind that the NAM model does have a little more, I'm not going to rule out that someone gets 5 inches out of this. I just think more backyards will be a little closer to 3. Enough to shovel, enough to plow. Not a huge storm, but certainly Saturday morning it's going to be pretty tough to get around. European model, a little over 3 inches on this, and this is based on a 10-to-1 liquid to snow ratio. Ratios will probably be a little higher than that with this, maybe 15-to-1. So, the European would suggest probably we get 3.5 to 4. So that's round number 1. Here's round number 2. And again, this is based on a 10-to-1 ratio. So it prints out 1.1 inches here in Youngstown for the second system for Sunday. But ratios are going to be a little higher than 10-to-1. So I could see where we get 2 inches out of this if the European model is on the money for that second system. So just to recap, a lot of information I'm throwing out here. Round number 1 of snow, Friday night, Saturday morning, probably 3 to perhaps as much as 5. Round number 2 is Sunday, mostly midday into the afternoon, probably 2, maybe 3. So that's how things are looking up for the snow this weekend. All right, let's talk wind chills. I'm going to show you a few wind chill maps. We're going to start with Tuesday morning. This is based on the GFS model, but other models have similar ideas. So, I don't want to give you the impression that I'm only looking at one model here. Meteorologists such as myself, we look at many different models and try to make a forecast based on all of the information that's available. I can't show you every single model I'm looking at, but especially since they have similar ideas today, this is pretty representative of all of the information that I've seen. Tuesday morning's wind chills down in the -30 to -35 range. Now, that might be a little bit too low, but not by much. I think -30 could be pretty realistic for Tuesday morning. The actual temperature Tuesday morning will be well below 0, maybe somewhere around -10 or so. That's Tuesday morning. Here's Wednesday morning. The GFS model has a wind chill of -35. Wednesday morning with actual temperatures probably down into the teens below 0. And then here's Thursday morning. This is the third morning in a row with wind chills just extreme, probably down in the -20s. So Monday morning's wind chills are going to be pretty bad. I didn't even show you Monday's map, but the worst of it's going to be Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, Thursday morning. So you can plan on all sorts of school cancellations next week. Kids could have almost the whole week off, I suspect. Monday's a little more borderline, but I suspect it's at least 2-hour delays on Monday. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, unless something drastic changes, which I don't expect, you can probably count on a lot of cancellations for the schools. So, plan accordingly. This is going to be a cold snap that will rival the one we had a couple of weeks ago. It'll rival some of our more historic cold snaps, including 1994, where the actual temperature got down to -22. This is probably going to try to rival that. So the same things we've been telling you all winter every time it gets cold. The pets. Don't keep them outside. You got to take them out to use the bathroom. Make sure it's for a minute or two. Be prepared for if your car's sitting outside, especially, and you got an older battery, your car might not start. We had a lot of problems with burst pipes a couple of weeks ago. We always do when it gets this cold. We'll have those problems next week as well. If your house is prone to that kind of a thing, take the proper precautions. If you haven't insulated them yet, that's a good idea as well. So, lots to talk about over the next week. We've got you covered on social media. You can go to my blog, ericwfmj.com. This morning I posted a real big detailed discussion about all of the same things I talked about here in the video, so check that out. And as always, you can catch my forecast tonight on 21 News at 6 and 11.